That's a straw man fallacy. You're deliberately misrepresenting an argument, so it makes it easier for you to dismiss it.
And the only people who say that masculinity is toxic are the people who use this straw man argument to ignore legitimate criticisms and complaints about specific practices within masculinity. Because it is much easier to dismiss this fake argument than it is to address and respond to the real ones.
I don't particularly like the phrase toxic masculinity, but if we're going to be talking about characteristic traits and behaviors often associated with men and boys that we deem as toxic, I can see how the phrase developed. And the traits listed here, I can't think of anybody, let alone a feminist, who has ever said that these traits are toxic masculinity. I only see it from men with a victim mentality who wrap their entire identity around this magical fantasy word of masculinity. They go ahead and list some traits that nobody takes issue with as part of a straw man fallacy to dismiss any claims that there's any behaviors that are often associated with men and boys that we would deem as toxic. If there are any feminists watching, please let me know. Are these toxic traits of masculinity? I mean, I'd say number 2 perhaps, because it kind of insinuates that you're only a good man out of fear of what God might do to you if you're not. I want to be and try to be a good man because it makes me feel good and I believe it's the right thing to do, irrespective of whether God exists or not, but to each is their own. Now, I'm not trying to offend and insult people of faith. You have to understand this is how God made me. Let's say they were making this argument. I've got a good example of evidence that would back this claim. Just go to your search bar and type in masculinity or masculine and click on any number of the 1,000 different masculinity themed accounts out there in which the majority of the content is derogatory towards women and is just a gateway to develop a misogynistic mindset. Well, that's not real masculinity. Well, that's how it's been branded. You guys have got a PR problem. You need to sort your shit out. Also, masculinity isn't real at all. It's made up. It's as real as you make it. You got something that's so subjective and any individual can have their own interpretation of it. To me, that makes it utterly meaningless. Like, I think there's more of a consensus out on what are good traits for a man to have. So I just rather follow that instead, including plenty of character traits that often get associated with being feminine. And certainly in these masculinity-obsessed men's circles, there's definitely negative connotations that would be attached to a man who may embody any traits that are labeled as feminine. Feminine traits defined by who the fuck knows or cares. Just be a good man, that's all that fucking matters. You masculinity fanatics, yeah, you got an image problem. And the supposed good representatives of this fantasy land of masculinity don't want to do anything about it. They just want to continue to have a victim mentality and engage in straw man fallacies to defend a made-up word that they've made their entire identity. Because if they don't, feminists will get their way and ban masculinity and make it illegal. How in the fuck would you implement that?
Nobody says that masculinity is bad, except for the people who complain that feminists think masculinity is bad.
Get your stinking paws off my masculinity, you damn dirty ape!
Which again, is not something that feminists actually believe or say.
Physically strong man of faith, dedicated husband and father. Good job. Keep doing what you're doing. Well, I've got to stick it to the feminists because I've made it up in my mind that I think that they think that my lifestyle is toxic. Well, I don't know. Would your God approve of you engaging in this type of behavior? Look, again, I'm not trying to insult and offend people of faith. You have to understand. This is how God made me.